Alright, so hello and welcome to another Unity tutorial. This one is about animations and how to transition between them properly. So, first off, what you're going to want to do is get your animation tab. And if you don't have this down here, go up here to the top left, click on Window, go to Animation, and Animation. And then your animation, and I'm pretty sure Animator should pop up with it. So to begin animating an object, you're going to actually have to have an object to animate. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn in a cube. Let me go ahead and make sure it's reset to 0, 0, 0 in front of the camera view. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and readjust this camera a bit so we could see at a better angle. That's better. So here we have our cube inside the scene view. And I have my camera down at an angle so we could see it better. And to begin just animating an object, inside the animation tab, when you have your object selected, which I have my cube, you click create. And this will open up your files. You could choose the name of the animation and what folder it will go to. So I just do my cube animation. Click save. And you can see down here in the assets, it created two things, the My Cube animation and the Cube Animator controller, which is this. And this is what you do to go between transitions for animations, and also this is what's also dealt inside of the scripts itself. So to begin animating, you're going to go ahead and click on your cube. And there's two ways to add properties. There's one where you could literally just press add property, do whatever you want. For me, I'm going to do transform, and I want to get the position of the cube. Or if you don't want to go through all that, you could click this record button, and whatever you move your cube to is where it'll move to in the animation. So if I go ahead and do that, so it'll start off at 0, 0, and then if I want to, I don't know, I'll just say about half a second in, I want to move it out to here. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and copy this first frame here. And after it's been a full second, I want it to go back to its position. So now when I go in and press, it'll go back and forth, and we can see that in the game view. Now, the problem with just creating a cube or something and doing it inside the global area is that even, let's just say, I'm actually going to move my scene view off to the side here. Let's just say I want to have my cube animate up here. I go in and press play to go ahead and play test it. You could see it just snapped back to where I was animating it at. And that's because when you went ahead and started creating the animation, you recorded the values of the object to its parent, which it doesn't have a parent, so it's in global space. So a way to counter this, which I'm actually just going to go ahead and delete all this and the cube. A way to do this is to create an empty game object, cube. So yeah, you would create an empty game object, and then under the empty game object, you would make a cube or wherever it is that you're animating the child. And then now you can go ahead and animate the cube. I'm just going to do my cube animation. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add the property, its position, right here at 30 seconds. I'm just going to go ahead and record it going out to here. So now, if I go ahead and press play, you can see it's moving. And so now inside the scene view, if I wanted to go ahead and move the parent up, the animation could start happening wherever it's at, wherever it was moved to, because you made the animation according to its position to its parent. Now, this doesn't only go for position. You could also do rotation, scale, and you could also, I guess, change meshes and different like settings for each component of the cube. So there's a box collider on it, and I could change if it's enabled or not, or disabled or whatever. So animations also work with physics. If you have a collider on there and you have like a bridge or something, you could animate that bridge like rising up, and it would still work with physics. Now, how would we go about controlling these animations in the script? First off, you're going to need to have a script. I'm just going to do cube animation script. And there we go. And onto the cube, we're going to go to the animator. So here is where we could set behaviors, transitions, and stuff like that. So if I go ahead to parameters here, I create a new parameter, and we're going to do a bool. And we're going to do animation. Alright, and we're going to have this set by false by default. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly create a new animation. To do this, you would just click here, new create new clip, and then change the name of the animation. I'm just going to do idle. Idle animation. It's just going to be the cube. Right here. And there we go. That's the idle animation. It's just going to sit there. So going into the animator, I'm going to go ahead and make this transition to the idle. So we're going to have a transition from the idle animation to the cube, and from the cube to the idle. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to click onto the arrow here, and if we click on the plus, we could set a condition. So if do animation is true, meaning this here, which we're going to toggle inside the script, if that's true, then we're going to do the cube animation. And on the back arrow, if do animation is false, then we're going to go ahead and do the idle animation. So when you open up your script, you're going to first off want to get a reference to the animator component. So I'm going to do public animator, and I'm just going to call it animator. And then next, you're going to want to basically control the condition that was created. So I'm going to do a void update, and I'm going to do it by pressing a key. So if I do if input.get key down key code dot space, so if I press spacebar, then we're going to do animator dot set bool, do anim, you gotta make sure you have quotation marks, do animation to true. And then I'm going to do it so if input dot get key up, so when I let go of spacebar, key code dot spacebar or space, we're going to do animator dot set bool, do animation to false. So if I press down space, the bool I created called do animation is going to be true. If I let go of space, then do animation is going to be set to false. So now if I go back into Unity and let this compile, then I'm going to go ahead and drag the script onto the parent. You could also do it on the cube itself, but I prefer to do it on the parent. I'm going to drag the cube into there since that has the animator component, and that's what's actually being animated. And so now I'm going to have animator open down here so you can visually see it and what's going on. If you press play, you can see that the idle animation is just playing. If I go and press down spacebar, the animation will start. When I go to let go, idle animation will start playing. Another thing that you could do, so if I go in and play test this animation, you could see it kind of slows down a bit as it goes to the end. And you could actually change that. So if you go down here into the inside the animation tab, you see dope sheet. But if you go down the curves, you could actually set how fast it will transition and go to the next frame of the animation. So I could go ahead and select all of this here, And I could right click both tangents and do linear. So it'll go at a constant speed. So now if I were to go in and play test this, it doesn't slow down. It just goes at a constant speed. And obviously you could play around with this. You could manually move it around and whatnot. And mess it up. Or there's many different stuff. You can even do it just on the left side could be linear. And then on the right side could be weighted. And play around and whatnot. Find out what you want to do. And yeah, so that's just basically the bare bones of the animation. Hopefully this helped. I had to spend quite a bit of time working on a grenade launcher of a game of mine because I was animating it using global space instead of according to a empty game object or the position to its parent. So I figured this would have been helpful for people who would be having the same issue as me. That being said, this is Unity tutorial number 2, how to do animations. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions of what else you want me to go over in Unity, comment it or join the Discord server and ask me there. I'm also free to help. Thank you for watching and be ready for more tutorials.